Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Voodoo Garden. My name is Ray. I will be your host in this very last Voodoo Garden episode here at my old place. Have some questions, and I also have some things to do, so we're going to kind of multitask today. I'm going to answer questions while I dismantle the Voodoo Garden, which is kind of a fun thing for me. Let's start with Matt. Matt asks me, "Hey Ray, can I make compost tea with fresh manure?" Yes, you can, Matt, but you really shouldn't. I think that you should probably allow the manure to age or compost first, because fresh manure, unless it's from rabbits or llamas or alpacas, I believe those are the only three. Unless it's from them, it's not going to do well. It may burn your plants. And the type of tea that I'm talking about is steeped tea. That's where you just put it into the bucket and add water. As far as brewed tea, I don't know. I don't make brewed tea, but I would definitely not suggest it. So no, I know it seems like the easy way to just throw it in there and use it, but your plants will not thank you in the end, Matt. Okay, next one is from Luck Lou. Luck Lou? My lettuce is bitter. I need to know what it is that I did wrong. Well, Luck, you didn't do anything wrong. That is just the nature of lettuce. Lettuce will go bitter when it gets older in the season and it starts to go to seed, and when the sun gets really strong and it gets hot outside. That makes lettuce go bitter. Lettuce, when it's grown in the shade or when it's grown in cool temperatures, it generally stays nice. Ooh, I think there's a piece of pepper in my teeth. It generally stays soft, it stays very good tasting and not bitter. So it's not really your fault. There's nothing you can do. Once your lettuce goes bitter, it's bitter. And so you didn't do anything wrong. Don't worry about that. Hey, take a look, folks. Is that ugly or what? That's why I had this ridiculous screen up all this time. It's not that I like this screen, it's just that I don't like looking at this. And since I'm moving, I'm taking these curtains down because I figure anybody that's going to want this for like a little kid's bedroom or something like that, they're not going to want to use these old curtains. These were here when I moved here, and they're just ugly. So I figure I'd rather have a blank window than have ugly curtains. And I learned this when I sold my other home. Make the house look good. Next question is from DOUBLE00. I don't even know how to pronounce that, but I'm going to try anyway. Duo. Ray, my cucumber leaves are turning yellow and turning brown. Well, which is it? Anyway, I checked under the leaves and it has black dots everywhere. When I tapped the leaves, white flying insects started floating out, and how can I treat it? Well, I don't know what the black dots are. That has nothing to do with the white insects that are floating out. You have a few different things going on here. Leaves that turn yellow and then turn brown are an indication that there's something not going right, either with your plants, your soil. Something's going wrong in there, but I can't tell you what because I don't know all the conditions your plants were grown on. But the black dots. Black dots, generally when your leaves are turning yellow, black dots in there, that can suggest a fungus. And to get rid of a fungus, like I've said a million times before, everybody can tell you, mix in a tablespoon of baking soda with a quart of water, shake it up really good in a spray bottle, mist your plants top to bottom, underneath the leaves, on the soil. That gets rid of that fungus. That'll take care of that. As for the white flying insects, that has nothing to do with all of the previous stuff that's wrong with your plants. Those are called white flies, and I have white flies. I have them in here. Thing is, white flies really don't do a heck of a lot of damage to your plants. They really don't. They're a nuisance and they're all over the place, but they're just basically like, I don't know, like kids. Sometimes they just get underfoot, but they're really harmless, and they're actually kind of cute. But if you want to get rid of white flies, in all seriousness, get yourself a bottle of any kind of insecticide. Organic I prefer, because inorganic, if you're in the house, you're going to gas yourself out. I use pyrethrin because it kills on contact. And what you do is you lift up the leaves, slowly lift up the leaves, and you'll see these little white insects there. You hold back your mister, you go, and you give them a quick misting. couple times really quick, and that way they don't get a chance to get away, because once they start flying they're going to land on another leaf. You give them a quick misting on your plants and that will kill them instantly. You'll see them just drop like flies. You have to do all of your plants at the same time, and that's one of the things I mentioned, is that if you're going to treat something, do it the right way. Otherwise you're just going to go on and on and on, and you're going to discourage yourself. You're going to harm your plants by treating them over and over and over. They don't mind a little insecticide, whether it's organic or inorganic, but you know what? They don't like being harassed with all of this stuff. So if you're going to treat them right. Treat all your plants at the same time, and that should work. Me, I really don't worry about it, because they don't bother my plants. Every now and then I'll see the little white dots from them sucking on the plants, but there's just not enough of them to make a problem. And I spray them periodically, so I kind of keep them under control. Okay, next one is from Lou. How does one acquire one of those cool Praxis 55712 t-shirts? Not this one, but the one that I wear in the Praxis episodes. I'm sorry, you can't acquire one of those. That's a one of a kind. It's original. It was made custom for me by a viewer, and I really do appreciate it. I love that shirt. I actually liked it so much because I like the color. Dark green is a color that I like. And I like the shirt so much, I made it my uniform. I wear that on every single Praxis 5572 episode, and I'm going to keep wearing it until it just rots off my body, and then eventually I'll have to get another one. But no, I know it sounds kind of cool, you know, wearing t-shirts from a gardener that you really enjoy, and I appreciate the compliment, but I'm never going to do t-shirts and give them away or so. I just don't do that. But just tune in and you can see the shirt anytime you want, okay? Next one. Oh, I like this name. Cucumber 202. Can you put in paper products from the trash with the grass compost? A while back on the Praxis channel, back at my old house, I made a video called Easy Compost. And that compost was some of my favorite to make. Basically, all you have to do, mow your lawn, take that the green grass, pile it up into like this wire fencing, and it makes like this tube about this high by about this wide all the way around, and you fill it up with nothing but mowed grass, no paper, no nothing, and it will decompose and make the best, richest, most nitrogen perfect compost you've ever seen. And I got so much flack from that. I mean, all the experts and all the people that follow the book, they were harping about how it didn't work, you can't do this, you can't do that, that isn't compost. But they didn't watch my episodes after that, because the compost did break down. It made fantastic compost. I used it on the garden, and it was a perfect thing. So you can tell me it doesn't work, but the fact is you're telling me it doesn't work while I'm doing it, and it is working. So, you know, the grass compost is a great thing. The only problem is you have to turn it like almost every other day. Otherwise it turns anaerobic, because it cooks like that. It's like if compost were an oven, grass compost is a microwave, you know, and it cooks just that fast. And but you know, if you want to use paper, or, you know, any kind of scrap trash like tissues, toilet paper, any kind of, you know, paper towels, things like that, I don't know, tax forms and things, run it through a shredder or tear it up as small as you can. Mix it in with that grass compost, and I'll tell you what, you are going to have some insanely good carbon source for all of that nitrogen. You won't have to turn it as much. You're going to have a fantastic compost. For people that can't make the perfect compost, like with chickens or with manure, or have the space, grass compost is so high in nitrogen it can actually cook in a smaller pile than most composts. And if you put in some shredded paper, some trash and stuff, this is for people with small yards or people who are limited on what they can do. That's going to work out pretty good for you. Pete Lara asks, I was curious as to why you didn't prune the suckers off your tomato plants. Well, Pete, I prefer to leave the suckers on the plants, because unlike other gardeners, I don't grow straight up. And that's what the common method of growing is that you grow a plant, you cut off the suckers, and you make it grow straight up. This has been accepted in gardening for ages, longer than I've been alive. And the thing is, I don't grow standard growing. I looked at the plant and I thought, why? You know, and you ask people, why do you cut off suckers? Oh, well, it saps energy from the plants. That's the most common answer. It saps energy from the plants. But I thought about it logically, like a plant. How could it? it doesn't sap energy from the plants. It's like a tree. A tree has branches growing out. That's not sapping energy from the plants. What that does is it puts a load on the plants. And when a plant has a load that it needs to support, it sends down more roots to support that load. And also, I bury my tomato plants very deep, which means they have a more extensive root system, whereas a regular tomato plant may not be able to support a lot of growth with its regular root system if you plant it regular. If you plant them my way, bury them deep and bury some of the low suckers that come out, they send down an insane amount of roots that far surpasses anything that you'll ever see in any other garden, which means it can support all of those suckers. And you know what? A sucker is nothing more than a new plant growing off the old plant, and it will put out flowers and it will put out fruit. Last year, as living proof of what I do, I had the Boxcar Willie. Remember the Boxcar Willie? One plant buried deep, suckers everywhere, and it looked like this huge candelabra of a plant in a 3 foot by 3 foot area. One plant supplied me with all of the tomatoes I needed for one season, all the canning I needed, everything to get me all through a winter. One seed of one tomato got me all of that using the methods that I use. So when people tell you you can't do things, don't always listen to what everybody says. People like to give you good advice, but some folks will just, it's kind of like the lemming effect, you know? They do it because the person in front of them does it, and that person does it because the person in front of them does it, and nobody really knows the reason why, or they haven't questioned the reasons why they're doing what they're doing. I like to question. And sometimes it leads me on a different path. Sometimes it leads me to a dead end. But as far as cutting off the suckers, I don't do it because I figure that's just more plant. I do cut off suckers when they go a direction that I don't want, but I only do it because of that, not because of the old standby that it saps all the strength of the plant. Nope, nope, don't cut off those suckers. Oh, where'd my screwdriver go? Now, now that we got that question answered, I want to show you guys something. It's behind this curtain, okay? Let me get this curtain off, and I want to show you something that you guys have never seen in the Voodoo Garden. This is one of those little secrets that if you've never been to the Voodoo Garden, you're going to actually like this, okay? Even if you have been to the Voodoo Garden. Pardon me while I point my butt at you, but I can't take these screws off any other way. This is a little invention that I made, and it was to keep the spider mites out of my grow room, because remember a couple years ago I had a spider mite attack. I call it the Great Spider Mite Attack of 2012, and it decimated my plant room. Oh, it was horrible. Plants were dying. There was terror. There was all kinds of mess. I couldn't save them. There was a triage unit up here. Couldn't save the plants, and that was really kind of sad. So I invented something, and it works. It keeps a negative airflow in this room, and it works wonders, and it also keeps it cooler too. Let me show you what I made. And also, I got to take it out to take it to the new place, so I figured, what the heck, I'll just do a Voodoo Garden episode and I'll show you. Really? 3 more screws? Is that what that is? Be right back. Haha! Pretty handy with a screwdriver, aren't I? Take a look at this. I have 2 windows here, and I've mentioned in the Voodoo Garden I don't have any windows because I do have windows, but I couldn't use them because these windows don't really do anything for the plants, and so I covered them up. And also, it's because the lights are so bright. I have a neighbor back there, and I had a feeling they were, looking, because all the lights are really bright and you never know what's going on up here. When your neighbors see that you have a light brighter than the sun coming out of your window, they're kind of curious. And so that's why I kept the curtains closed. I kept this in front of it. I tried to keep the light from shining out any more than I absolutely had to. But take a look at this. Actually, why don't you come over here? I want to demonstrate this. I have a demonstration for you. Unlatch the window. Crank it open. Oh, it hasn't been open in quite a long time. And then, I got to plug it in. I have a little switch. It is so cool. It blows the air out of the window, and that's what I wanted, because when I first moved here, I opened up the windows and air would come in. Problem is, spider mites float on a breeze out there. So I had spider mites coming in my window. And I turned these on, these 2 fans, and I can open up the windows some more. And what it does is it blows the air out and it brings air in from the other rooms over to here, so I have a negative airflow. It has a low speed and a high speed. I wired it up myself. I know it looks ridiculous, but it's perfectly safe. I have the wire caps on the wires and stuff like that, and it's made out of plywood. But yeah, that is so cool. I'm taking this to the new house with me. I just wanted to show this to you because this is a part of the Voodoo Garden that you've never seen before. I like it. Okay, I better close this before anything flies in my window and attacks my plants. It's coming together. All these things are coming apart. It just feels like I'm moving now instead of just taking things apart. It actually feels like I'm moving. I know I've said this on the Praxis channel so many times, but I got to say it again. It feels good. It feels good that I'm moving. And the new Voodoo Garden is going to be better than ever. It's going to be fun. And so tune in. Once we get moved, I'll set up the Voodoo Garden and I'll take you on a tour of what it's going to look like. I still got to paint it because it's just the color. You'll know. When we get there, I'll show you the color. Yeah, that color's got to go, but it's going to be fun. And as I like to say, all things are possible in the Voodoo Garden. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in all this time here. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you at the new place. Have a great day, and we are out of here. Oh, yeah, we're out of here.